pray tell?
Hey everybody, how's it going? I thought I'd check out some doom scrolling on a Saturday evening. How's everyone doing today? Gonna go check out some X posts. See this post here from Fox News. I guess Justin Bieber helped a man whose car just broke down, offering him a handshake, a hug, and what the man called, quote, the best prayer of his life. Let's check this one out.
What's up, bro, Justin?
I love you, bro. Can I hug
Love
you?
you too. Yes, sir.
My
Bro.
bad. I didn't know you was.
No, it's all
I was
good. What
already
happened?
recording. Do you really want to know?
Yes, bro.
Okay. So, my life is. Bro.
Tell me, bro.
I swear. Let me stop recording.
What's up, bro?
Oh, that's funny. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, it's kind of cool that Justin Bieber helped this dude out. It's kind of interesting or whatever. Best prayer of his life. That's kind of cool. Nice little feel-good story. Let me check out some music here in the background. All right. What else is going on? Yeah, so they actually started this whole check out the region where people are from, and so I guess a lot of accounts are being outed as not American when they might have portrayed or given the impression that maybe they're coming from America. So that's going to be interesting. We'll see what the consequences are of that and then in the coming days, for sure. So a lot of America First accounts supposedly are coming up as coming from Europe. You have the United Kingdom, Canada, the United States. Super interesting. And actually a lot of, from what I understand, a lot of India accounts, a lot of Thai accounts. James Woods is pretty much an icon on X right now. Just gonna refresh and go home. Well, yeah, here's a post by Cat Turd. Anyone else tired of this BS? And of course, you have image here of 3 suspects and their victims. And I guess people are noticing a trend, to put it mildly. Some of the crime taking place. Here we go. Puerto Rican reposted by the bandit, is talking about everyone checking everyone else's account to see where they are based out of. Everyone's checking the timeline. I mean, it's kind of interesting because now here you are in this little internet world on X, and you have the opportunity to give an impression about certain ideas, often political, and who have slants. And some people, I mean, maybe those views are general in nature, or maybe the views are what I mean is genuine in nature. And regardless of the person's location, they have a perspective that's their own. Then you have some of these, I guess it's contrived in some kind of way. And so, are these paid accounts? Are these bot accounts? What's actually going on? And so it's kind of interesting to see this now. Some people will view this as doxing. So should X have the right to tell other people what country you're from? And can't you have a can't you use X for whatever whatever outcome you want? Are you not able to portray an image or an idea in some kind of way, even if it is not your own? Are you able to kind of hone in and uh, convey a slanted idea of something to garner an audience? Is that allowed? Should that be allowed? So some people view this as doxing, and so when you're you could be coming from anywhere in the world, and now X is telling people exactly what country you're from. So, yesterday or the day before, if someone wanted to, find out where you were, in theory, they'd have, all of the countries in the world as a menu of where to possibly find you. And right now, if this region, for example, if you're from Australia or France or something like that, well, they've narrowed it down to tens of millions of people. And then once a fact is learned about you, then people could narrow it down through your discourse, through your conversation. You find out little facts about people. People tend to, I'm not going to say dox themselves, but just people can't help but to relate stories that are happening in their neighborhood, happening in their city, their state, their province, their country, and then these fact after fact kind of comes out, and you can actually learn more about the individual and their location. So it'll be super interesting to find out what happens with that, and to see what the consequences are of that. So, does your credibility decrease? If you're a proponent of or someone who believes the opposite of an American or a certain political party, and it turns out you're from India, does that matter? Do you care about that? I think what we're going to find out is that there are some people that are actually who've actually lied, right? They've portrayed an image about that is maybe American, or a conservative American, or a democratic American, and you find out they're residing in another country. I think there was one instance I saw earlier today about there was some account that was actually America First, kind of a patriot account or something. I don't know. I think their own location that they typed in was like in Oregon, but what ended up happening is actually a Canadian account, and then someone found the LinkedIn profile of that person. I mean, they used a real picture of themselves in the profile picture, and they had, like, I think 300,000 people. So does that bother you? Is that just par for the course? Are you aware that you're on the internet and it doesn't even really matter? Everything is suspect. All right, here we go. Clown World just posted this one by someone by the name of Mariana Times, and they joined in 2023. And I guess there's Israel-centric background as a flag there, so you'd think it's a very someone who sees this and is very pro-Israel, and you'd expect to maybe have tweets that are kind of in line with that. Someone who's maybe a nationalist in some kind of way, and yet the account is based in India, right? So people will start asking the question: what is going on with this? Is this a Mariana Times? Is it is it this person being paid to post this information? Will it be discovered that, of course, I'm intentionally being naive to the situation? Is someone being paid to maybe post propaganda? And I think, X is amazing, and information is amazing, and what happens, you should be free to make statements, but what this feature does, what this aspect does about knowing where where the account is based out of, is you might quickly be able to find out, whether something is propaganda or not. And you could view it as propaganda in terms of something very evil and self-destructive to a country or to people, or you can maybe view it as marketing. Is a kind of marketing really about an idea and a slant. So, I mean, I know there's been a lot of, the last decade has been kind of tumultuous in the United States, and people, especially when X was Twitter and it was owned by someone else, and it didn't seem sometimes that the information that was allowed matched the reality that a lot of people lived, and there was. It was just it didn't match. It was kind of a disconnect there. And now, I guess, whenever now you're going to see a disconnect. There's going to be it's going to be in your face. So posts like this are kind of proof that something else is going on, right? It's not. It's maybe disingenuous in terms of information being shared and ideas, and again, that propagate. You get into that propaganda kind of language. Um, so people will start to ask more questions. Who is this Mariana Times person? Why do they have it's kind of curious that they have a pro-Israeli flag and that they're out of India, but maybe it's an actual person. I have no idea. Connected via an India Android app. Doom scrolling. All right, we have someone here just taking care of some hygiene on the subway. All right, here's another one. Sour Patch Lids, I guess, posted a tweet by Andy No. So here's someone by the name of Izana Speaks, proud American, standing for freedom, strength, and the USA first. MAGA, Trump 2024 patriot, just joined in September. You got a very, American picture there, someone hiding their face with a Yankees ball cap, and you got someone, again, hiding their face. There's a back shot there, looking at, I guess, some blooming flowers. And then we see that the account is actually based in Pakistan. It's been verified since September. They've changed the name twice, and they're connected via the United Arab Emirates. That's pretty fascinating. Cool. All right, here you have a post from the Hodge twins. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security is officially headquartered in Washington, D.C., per its website and government records. However, X's new account location feature briefly displayed DHS Gov is based in Tel Aviv, Israel, before the feature was paused. Ooh. All right. And of course, it's coming out that CBC, which is the essentially a government broadcasting outlet in Canada, their location is showing as from the United States, and people are saying that's due to VPN, something having to do with the VPN. Now, a counter news organization in Canada called Rebel News is, I guess, being touted essentially as being showing up as honestly being out of Canada here. Table Salt says that the only major news outlet in Canada not being outed as based in the United States is Rebel News. Also, the only news outlet who's barred from receiving Canadian tax grants. So apparently, Rebel News is not able to be to get tax grants in Canada. So, and some people think this is just showing extreme bias in the Canadian government, and because Rebel News offers a slant and a perspective that is contrary to the common dogma that is put out by the Canadian broadcaster in CBC. This is cool. Have you ever seen a manatee? Let me see here.
Brushing his teeth. Kill over here.
I don't know what he's doing.
He's smiling. He wants food.
I'm sorry, but
Oh,
I
he's
ain't got
coming, he's
nothing to
coming.
give you.
He's come. Oh, he's gonna come through.
Look.
It's like a dog barking to get food.
I wonder if he wants water.
I saw one in shallow water once, and I pet its head and it rolled over.
That's crazy.
Really?
Coolest thing I ever saw.
Oh, he's coming. He's coming. He's gonna. All right, he's gonna come to me. Come over here.
That is not a good.
Come. Oh, he's coming. He's coming. Okay. Oh, he's coming. He's gonna come.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, here's one. Native American Soul. This is an account on X. Joined November 2023 out of Bangladesh, and the account is based in Bangladesh. Native American Soul. Ultra MAGA Trump account 2028. Based in Nigeria. Insane. Hey, what's up, everybody? Okay, what is this here? Free speech is collapsing in the United States. Let's see. This is from Elijah Schaefer here. Let's check it out.
Citizen could be. Free speech is collapsing in the one country that was supposed to be untouchable. The warning signs have been flashing for months. Algorithmic strangling of political content, billionaires swallowing media companies to control the narrative, coordinated influencer campaigns designed to corral public opinion.
Do you work as hard as shoes?
Maybe if you spent more time taking notes from successful people, you wouldn't have to spend your nights and weekends spreading hate. Taking $7,000 per post. I know I've seen that happen a lot with you, Emily.
But nothing could have prepared me for this. Nothing could have prepared me for the moment that an American citizen could be dragged into federal court for $5 million because he retweeted a picture. Not a threat, not a statement, a retweet from the girlfriend of the FBI director in the United States of America.
Yeah, that was interesting. I guess there's something going on. That was Kash Patel and his girlfriend, an image of that. And I guess Elijah Schaefer, according to this video anyway, just retweeted something. We'll see how that works out. I guess Elijah says he had to move, or he left his house, went to Europe or something. And so it has something to do with, this video has to do with the idea that you cannot, you're losing your free speech. I could see if there's like slander rules and stuff like that, or other aspects that you might have to get into. I didn't see any of that with this. I don't know enough about it, but begs the question though: is free speech on the decline? Oh, this one's interesting. Okay, there's a video here.
Now you have all these bars. I have a question for you guys. If America were to get in a war with a country like Iraq, who would you guys defend, America or Iraq?
We won't get in a war. That's not permissible for us. But at the same time,
who would you defend first?
We would support our brothers in Iraq. That's the only way.
So you wouldn't defend America?
We would not defend America.
But you're American.
But at the same time, listen. At the same time, America is our country because we were born here. But in our Islamic book, we're not allowed to fight with people that are against our religion. So
that's super interesting. So you have someone living in America and who's Islamic, and if there was a war against another, I guess, Islamic country, they while the person says that they are living here and there's a contradiction going on, they are not allowed to like fight against their I guess Islamic brothers. So it does, beg some questions about to the security and safety of the United States. In a move that would delay a totally cashless society, Ohio is proposing a bill that would make it mandatory that businesses and government entities make provisions to accept cash. I try to keep some cash on me, as many businesses here charge a fee to use a credit card. Now, to be honest with you, I thought that was always a mandatory rule. I thought that, we have something called legal tender. And so no matter what's going on, if someone comes in with this legal tender, and then a company's supposed to take it. Doesn't matter if it's pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, bills, whatever, you're supposed to take it. So, but obviously I've seen and been in situations where a lot of entities don't accept accept cash. So I think, what do you think of that? Do you think businesses should be allowed to and forced to accept cash if you come in? Because what happens, I think, when when you enforce a digital aspect of it, then people are concerned about being tracked, being watched, your transactions being monitored and that kind of thing. So obviously, if you walk into a store you go to the 7-Eleven and you pay in cash, no one could see you. No one knows what you're doing outside of obviously the television in the store itself. But so I think at its root, that's a good kind of thing. You should always be able to pay in cash if cash is a valid currency. Nancy Ham says, Sharia courts in Dallas. Governor Abbott, she tags Governor Abbott. This is disgraceful and needs to be dealt with immediately. Shut it down. Get rid of all these masks and get rid of all these Islam communities. Deport each and every one of them. Get them out of Texas and out of America. So Dana Loesch is reporting, quote, there are Sharia courts that are operating in Dallas. Let's give this here.
We don't have any currently actual legitimate Sharia courts, do we?
Well, if you look at a letter that I issued earlier today, I did tell the public, as well as local law enforcement, that there actually are Sharia courts that are operating in Dallas, and they are trying to impose Sharia law. And I pointed out to local prosecutors, both in Dallas County as well as in Collin County, as well as to the Attorney General, as well as to the Texas Department of Public Safety, that what they are doing with these Sharia courts that we have identified in the letter that I issued today, they are in violation of Texas law, including violation of Texas penal codes. And so what they're doing in part could be considered a crime, but also clearly a violation of the Texas Constitution and our statutes that prohibit Sharia law in the state of Texas.
So that's very interesting. You have what happens when you get a diverse group of people. They end up like assimilating again into their own little communities, which are just microcosms of like the motherland essentially. And so what ends up happening is you find out they want to maintain the culture, the rituals, the politics, the laws, and that kind of thing. And so what's being referred to here is, I guess, they're in their own social context, in their own little segregated areas, they will have these, in I guess, Islamic communities, a Sharia court. And so if it matters more in a social sense, then, these Sharia courts, they will just adjudicate issues in their own way, and this can be seen as kind of like extra legal, right? So it's outside of the normal legal framework here, which is essentially illegal. So, if a true, the country and the state and the individual cities have all their own laws and regulations, and those should be adhered to for their own sake. So there's no separate, there's no recognized separate mechanism to deal with these breaches of law. But if you have a powerful enough um, concentration of people of a different demographic, i.e., in Islamic culture in some cities, there can be pressure for people to say, "Hey, in our religion, this we think this is not acceptable," and so the Sharia courts, for example, would adjudicate based on those tenets. And I guess the ultimate, would be the ultimate arbiter of that would be rules and edicts listed in the Quran, for example. So, and I believe also um, there were some cases, I think, in Canada where the Chinese government was operating kind of like these mini police stations, and so which would have influence over the Chinese population in, for example, in Toronto or Vancouver or whatever. These little satellite operations, which were ultimately used to enforce Chinese values, I guess, or values of the CCP, um, in that kind of context. So, kind of interesting. This is, it's like to think that America is a melting pot. So it used to be that way, where people would be expected to come into the country and then behave in an American way. Everyone is American, despite where you came from. Everyone is American. And that's different from Canada, where it's more of a mosaic. So the perspective in Canada is that you would have your own kind of, you maintain your identity. If you think of a mosaic in terms of art, everyone is their own kind of on dot in the color palette, and then the mosaic, you have one painting that is all kinds of dots, and these are individuals with their own culture, and then in theory, they would bring that, and the country would be better off for it. But in America, America was founded on a specific set of values, and it is those values that all people should share, regardless of where they came from. It's being American is an acknowledgement that that way of life is better than all other ways of life, right? And it makes sense because you likely traveled originally from some other part of the world to come to America, with all the hopes and dreams and aspirations, which are made possible by a certain set of values. And so that is at risk when you start having things like, I guess, Sharia law, Sharia courts operating in Dallas. And if it starts in Dallas, where else is it? Where else is that end up, taking place? I can see it taking place in Minnesota, for sure. High Somali population, of course. So apparently, the CDC updated their guidelines on Wednesday with a statement that says that vaccines do not cause autism. So, for the last generation or two, a lot of the reasons why people would try to avoid taking vaccines, that would be vaccine hesitancy, because of the side effects and the consequences of that. If someone perceives that there's a risk of their child getting autism, then obviously they might want to avoid that. And those of you might remember, Jenny McCarthy did for a few years, she was on this, she had a child with autism, and of course, I think she blamed the vaccines on that. And so, with the new administration, you have the Kennedy, who's kind of, I think he's kind of along that. Obviously, he's along that same line of thought, and so the statement mirrors and reflects those values. Also, I think there's a reference to some studies that when they come out and they make a claim about something, and they're obviously not based on a lot of information or knowledge at the time. So sometimes people make claims based on a very minimal amount of knowledge. And so this This supports the facts that vaccines do not cause autism. Now, they might do a whole lot of other things. There might be like, a risk of, I think, with mercury, they use as an adjuvant, I think is the expression, which can be damaging. And, obviously, mercury is toxic. And I believe they're coming out with some kind of regulation or policy that's going to be forbidden now in future vaccines. Let's see what this lady has to say.
You saying, sir? Mom Donnie. Now who's a big boy? Who is a good little boy today? Because from what I remember you saying, sir, was you were going to walk up in there and tell him how it is and what he's going to be doing. But what really happened was...
All right, being super critical about the Mamdani Trump meeting, and where he was going to just, present one kind of, unaffected kind of and strong message, strong socialist message, saying he was going to take his bull. Well, he came across differently, kind of in the Oval Office. What happens was, I think that reporter asked about Mamdani if he was going to actually, if he still thought, Trump was a fascist, and he still label him a fascist. And of course, Trump's sitting right beside him. And so Mamdani started to give this very politically correct answer, while Trump just stopped him and put his hand on his arm and said, "Go ahead and say it, and it'll just be easier that way if you say yes, he's a fascist." All right, and here's a picture of Ariana Grande and Donald Trump. Ariana Grande's blast Trump voters by asking, "Has your life gotten better?" Of course, she's in La La Land. She's just lives her own life. And recent pictures of her with the co-star in Wicked, just people have her questioning, I think, both her health and physically and mentally with how she's been behaving. But I don't think she'd be aware if anything got better or worse, to be quite honest with you. She's kind of in her own bubble. Melissa from Canada says, "Holy crap, Yi Pengji account is based in Jordan, and apparently he's the Canadian physician and flotilla participant, advocate for Palestine, friends with Rachel Gilmore. He was also born in Wuhan, China, and the account's coming out of Jordan for some reason. I have no idea." Just begs the question: what happens if you had a VPN or something, and your IP was being masked, and just happened to pick up the one in Jordan when you first created the account? I don't know. Again, here's one from a Liberal Party of Canada. The Libs are using a VPN to post from X. Even they don't trust themselves. So the account is based in the United States, according to this post. Which city looks magical online but felt boring, overpriced, or exhausting in real life? Let's see here. We have love driving through New York City and getting pics so I can paint them. Las Vegas, yeah, super pricey right now. Sea Cove Mainstream says New York City, Miami, Ankara, and Bogota. London. I've lived there for 1.5 years. It was really expensive and challenging. I preferred its counterpart, New York City, Manhattan. Los Angeles, London, Las Vegas, Blackpool, Tokyo, Vegas, San Francisco, all cities. Dublin, interesting. All right, let me see here. Congressperson Marjorie Taylor Brown just resigned. Yesterday indicated she would not be running again, and she's going to retire, I guess, 2 days after her she meets eligibility for her pension. I guess Donald Trump just truthed this. Let me see what it says. Marjorie Taylor Brown, intentionally not calling her Marjorie Traitor Brown, as opposed to Taylor Green, because of plummeting poll numbers and not wanting to face a primary challenger with a strong Trump endorsement, which she would have no chance of winning, has decided to call it quits. Her relationship with the worst Republican congressman in decades, Tom Massey of Kentucky, also known as Rand Paul Jr., because he votes against the Republican Party in really good legislation, did not help her. For some reason, primarily that I refused to return her never-ending barrage of phone calls, Marjorie went bad. Nevertheless, I will always appreciate Marjorie and thank her for her service to our country. President DJT. Let's see what this is here from AKA.
You want to show me it? Hey, bro, you really shouldn't be smoking out here on my streets, bro. If I see that shit again, I'm gonna smash it, dude. Guys, get a load of this guy. He's smoking. Yeah, that's right. Should I talk shit to you instead, buddy? Yeah, back it up, buddy.
Back it up.
Oh, you fucking jackass.
First off, that's verbal assault. You just called her a bitch. Back the
Yeah.
fuck off, dude.
Look at your fucking teeth, bro. They're disgusting.
All right. least 5 people shot after 300 teens started rioting following Chicago's Christmas tree lighting ceremony. 300 juveniles rioting in a loop now. At least 5 victims shot, 1 critical with life-threatening.
Yep. It's time to go. See them hold the gun. Right?
That's pretty sad. That's unfortunate. All right. Slow news evening. I'm going to check out for now. Take care, everyone. Have a good evening. Bye for now.